Hi there, it's Sandy, your sister and your friend. Welcome to our YouTube channel. Thank you so much for staying with me as I'm doing these videos that really kind of chronicle my experience in my spiritual walk and understanding of who I am and who God is. And so today's question is, how do we go about loving God? What does it mean to love God, to love the source of all life? What does it mean to love somebody or something or some presence that's not present? What does it mean to love a spirit being? As I'm a spirit being and you are a spirit being, but we also have on our flesh suit. And that's not how we experience God here on the earth. So, what does it mean to love this type of a God or this only God? And I read a devotion by Richard Rohr today, and basically it said that how we love God is to love the things that God loves. I thought that was a great thought, and I thought I would share that with you here today. Of course, I'll put the link to that meditation down below. And what does God love? God loves everything that has been created. And I think we can go so far as to say that He loves the things that man has used his creativity to create as well. So all forms of life, all animals, all plants, um, and this earth itself, and of course all the children who ever have lived on the earth. And so when we're loving something, let's just say somebody like God loves, what does that look like? Um, I would say that it looks like that we're not setting them up to for us to define how they should be. We're enjoying them just the way they are. That we are not having certain expectations of them. We are not looking to define ourselves and our personalities according to the way that they behave. We don't need for them to do certain things or to be certain ways in order for us to be able to love them. We can love them without defining them. As a matter of fact, I think true love really is a matter of us helping them to understand who they really are, that how passionate God, their creator, is about them, how much he desires for them to know how much they are beloved by him. And so when we really can come into this human experience of loving God by loving people and things and creatures in this pure way without a sense of neediness, um, then I think that's really what it means to love God. And um, and I think that is um, really defines our experience here on the earth. When I talk about this being my spiritual journey, it really has been a journey into an understanding of who I am and who everybody else is around me. That there is no distinction. We are in this form, and in this form we have things that we have been defined either in our culture, in our society, by our age, by our skin color, by our religious preferences. And when we stop and think, all these things are fading away. At one point, when this body dies, these things aren't going to make any difference at all. They will all have come and gone, come and gone. And yet there's something about each of us that stays, that's permanent. And that is our true identity in God. It is knowing who we really are and falling into that place, falling back into that place of our true self. It's so beautiful. It's so relaxing. It's nothing but peace there. But it is work. I remember there's a Bible verse, I believe in Hebrews, that says, let us work, to stay in the rest. And so it is work because there's so many distractions and so many things that pull us out of that place of rest. I use Jesus as an example here because I grew up in Christianity, and so I'm familiar with things that Jesus said, and he's the one who always gave us all these parables, all these ways to understand what life is all about. And one of them, my favorite, are all the lost things. He talked about the lost coin and the lost son, and also the lost sheep. He said the good shepherd leaves the 99 sheep to go after the one who is lost. And that's how Jesus showed us, that's how he expressed what it meant to love God. He didn't say, I'm going to teach you a doctrine. He showed them by example of what love looks like when you pour God's love out on one individual. When he took everybody, each person who came to him and they wanted to be healed, and he poured God's love onto them to restore them back to what they wanted, what they were looking for. He would ask them oftentimes, what is it you want from me? And then he gave them what they were looking for, whether it was healing from being blind from birth, from being lame from birth, whatever it was. So instead of us now, as we look to him as an example, because he said, the things I do, you can do these things and greater things, not to limit us. He said, you are unlimited. You're going to, even because I've come and shown you this way, you're going to come and be able to do even greater things than these. And the greater things, I think, are us not stuffing our doctrines and dogma down people, saying you've got to believe this, because when we start valuing doctrine above our love for people, that's never what Jesus did. That's never what he showed us to do. He always said, let me go and love this person and show them what love actually looks like. Let me tell them who they are. And I think that's really our role here on the earth, is to know who we are and then to share the truth of that with other people who maybe no one's ever told them that before. No, maybe they've never heard it, or maybe they just weren't ready to hear it. And we're the ones who God has brought into their life at this particular moment when they're able to hear that they are so beloved and that they are valuable and they're worthy. And it's not because they have to earn it. So as we go about this, I was talking to a friend of mine, so it takes some practice to love the people who come into our life, or to love situations that we find ourselves in. And she has been trained in spiritual energy healing, and she told me 3 things that they adopt and that they use. And one is no judgment, not to judge other people, not to judge a situation. Another is, I'm going to look down, to have no comparisons. So we're not going to compare what happens with this person's healing with what happened with that person's healing. So not to have any comparisons. And then to delete the need to understand. I think that is also really important, because I've had some things happen in my life in the spiritual realm that I did not understand at all. And that was okay, because I recognized them as coming from a good place for me, and something that I have held on to as knowing that it's good and valuable. But I don't have any really understanding of why it happened, how it happened, and sometimes not even what it meant. I kind of was thinking about these 3 things, and I wanted to add one more that really ties into these, but it is to have no expectations. So when I'm coming into alignment with someone, or I'm in relationship with someone, it really has helped me to not have expectations, not to project onto that person what I think they should do, or what they should hear, or what they should be able to understand even. If I can drop my expectations of them, it really becomes a very pure type of encounter with them. Our relationship really does get value from me dropping my expectations of them. And so to be able to carry out things like these that are really important and very helpful in our life, I've heard of two mantras, and they're from two different spiritual teachers, but I like these equally, so I'll just share them with you. And one of them is, I can handle this. So that is a matter of, usually I apply that when I'm in some situation where I might be fearful, or might not understand what I should do. If I can just say to myself, and a lot of times I'll say it out loud or under my breath or just in my mind, I can handle this. I can handle this. I can handle this. It's really helpful to me. And then I heard another one just this morning and I'll put some links to these down below. And this was by in a meditation with Muji, or a teaching by Muji, and he had said to just say thank you, to say thank you, thank you. So no matter what I'm facing, no matter what is coming up for me, there is something in this for me. There's something that I can learn from this situation. There's something, some way that I'm going to grow from this struggle, from this thing that's pushing against what I want to do or what I find naturally that I would usually choose to do. So there's something, if I can just say thank you and relax into it, and observe from this higher place where I am, observe from my true self, observe this situation, and be grateful. Can I be grateful in all things? I think that's, what it means to pray in all things, to be thankful. So even if the circumstances don't look good, God uses all things for the good of those who love him. So we circle right back to the beginning. How do we love God? Maybe we do it through gratitude. Thank you so much for listening. I love you so much. I love being in God's family with you. Take care. Bye-bye.